So let me tell you a story. The story of a particle called a photon. Note this story is quite imaginary, just like the particle called a photon. It originated, let me see. Since the beginning of time, maybe no one really knows. A spectacular explosion that came from nothing and creating everything that one knows. It was beautiful, I guess, if I was alive to see it. But wait, I wouldn't be, because I'd be toast. Today that particle is called by many names, and one of them is called a roast. So the particle travelled at speeds unknown. It couldn't be stopped, for there was nothing. For the universe was still in its early stages. The photon was the only something. Until a time came when it changed its course, bending, twisting, sometimes rebounding, all to the courtesy of a mysterious force. And it was this force that led to some peculiar beings to form, beings that had loved darkness. On a lonely little rock, it was one of a kind, made of atoms that had come out of quarkness. The beings evolved into super beings, beings that could not see the photon but only feel it. And this feeling started a chemical reaction, a reaction that made everything. And the super beings evolved into egoistic morons. And it was for the first time that light was seen, felt, admired, prayed to all the time. But I must say honestly, a long time it's been. The photon had a peculiar property. It could bend space-time at will, something no one had seen it do, something that couldn't be done by thrill. And it travelled for miles and miles, creating a window to the past. Being the fastest racer in the universe, it really couldn't come last. And the morons saw it and they wondered like anything, didn't they? They studied it with intent to beat it in race, but with everything, there's a price to pay. What was once the source of happiness and content, it had now become the cause of war. Light shook the earth for the first time in a while, and the tears that dropped were sent far. And that brings me to today, I hope you remember. The photons that bounced off your streaks, your room, the keyboard and the guitar. They have found their way to the darkness of the universe. Yet I feel they haven't reached far. For the photon continues forever, having no beginning and seemingly no end. Coming from nothing, it travels to nothing, and nothing to make it bend. As the universe corrodes away and things are thrown apart, the force that once brought them together has lost the fight of the hearts. As more space is created and the stars burn out, all that remains is darkness, with black holes carrying the only meaning of time. They too eventually lose to quarkness. But the photon remains, unchallenged by darkness, with no one to see it and no one to feel it. It stays till the end of time. A window to an amazing past with love, violence and hate. I won't be there to see it, I know, but who knows? One day we may see it straight. As the photon journeys to the end of time, I realize one thing that I must learn. That darkness is not the absence of the photon. It was losing the hope that the photon will ever return. Thank you.